Shalom Aleichem, everyone. I hope everyone is well. It is Erev Shabbos Parshas Teitzei. I'm recording today, Tuesday afternoon, and we're moments away from the beginning of the new year in Yeshivat, Tafshin Ayin Zayin. The group flight has just landed. The boys will be here in the next hour or so, and we're very, very geared up. We really have a new campus, a brand new Beis Medrash, 10 new classrooms, beautiful new dormitories. Very, very exciting. And I think our biggest year in Mevaseret history, we have 88 Shana Aleph boys coming in, 49 Shana Bet boys, a total of 137 Talmidim. Very, very exciting. So I wanted to share a brief thought, two thoughts from this week's Parasha Teitzei, about relationships gone awry. Relationships that do not work out in the best fashion possible. And we have a number of those in this week's Parasha. We'll start off with the Parasha of Ben Sorer Umoreh, the so-called rebellious son, the wayward son, who doesn't listen to his parents. He engages in activity, drinking, eating gluttonously, and Nidon al Shem Sofer, the Gemara tells us, because of how his life is projecting, we're going to go ahead and put him to death now. So the Torah tells us in Perek Chaf Aleph, Pasuk Yitches, Ki yele ish ben sorer umoreh, enenu shomea bekol aviv uvekol imo, vayisra oso vayishma aleim. So you have a ben sorer umoreh, he's rebellious, and he doesn't listen to the voice of his father, kol aviv, and he doesn't listen to the voice of his mother, to kol imo. Two psukim later, as a result of what happens, again, the Torah tells us in the next pasuk, v'tafsu b'avivimo, his parents take him, they bring him to the Beis Din, v'amru al ziknei iro, and then they tell the Beis Din, b'neinu zeh sorer umoreh. Our son is a ben sorer umoreh, is a rebellious son, einenu shomea bekolenu. He doesn't listen, he doesn't hearken to our voice. So David Feinstein makes a very subtle but very striking diuk. He points out in the first pasuk that we read, we are told, Einenu shomea, he doesn't listen, bekol aviv uvekol imo. He doesn't listen to his father's voice. He doesn't listen to his mother's voice. They bring him to Beis Din. And now, when they're in Beis Din, they report to Beis Din, Einenu shomea bekolenu. He didn't listen to our voice. Why in the first pasuk is it kol aviv v'kol imo, and the latter pasuk it is einenu shomea bekolenu. So David Feinstein points out perhaps an interesting subtlety, an interesting diuk. One of the first yesodos in parenting, and perhaps in chinuch in general, is that the two parents always have to speak with a single voice. They might not always agree, but if they disagree in private. They have different views. Should this child be friends with this person, not friends with this person, this school, that school, this chevra, that chevra? They might have different opinions. That they discuss privately. They figure out now what they're going to communicate with a unified voice to their child. Because when the child gets mixed messages, one message from the father, a different message from the mother, so it's a free-for-all. And maybe now the child has his own message, something that he'll listen to his own inner voice because he's getting these mixed messages. This goes to schooling as well. A lot of times a parent might disagree with the messages that are transmitted by the school or by a teacher, and will be free to argue on the teacher, on the approach of the school, on the approach of the rabbi of the shul. If the child is hearing mixed messages, well, my father can argue with my teacher, so why can't I? If my father can argue with my mother can disagree with my father, so perhaps why can't I? So while we're certainly allowed to have difference of opinion and different approaches, but the voice that the child can hear and must hear is a unified voice. That has to be worked out in advance, and then we can go ahead and present the message to the child. Here, yeah, at some point the parents got it. And when they bring him to Beis Din, it's Einenu shomea bekolenu. He hasn't heard our voice, but perhaps it was too late. All along he was hearing mixed messages. Now that he's already at this stage, Einenu shomea bekolenu, that unity, it's a little too late for that right now. It had to have been there all along. Perhaps, again, a subtle message that you find from this relationship that doesn't work out. Another relationship that doesn't work out, you find in this week's parasha, we learn about the halachos of gittin, of divorce. V'kosav lo sefer krisus, a mitzvah saseh doraisa. Doesn't mean we want to fulfill this mitzvah saseh doraisa, but the Torah tells us if a relationship is not working and the couple feels necessary to sever the relationship, there's a procedure that must be undertaken in order to get divorced, and that is the procedure of gerushin, and that is, of course, one of the 613 mitzvahs, not an imperative, but if you want to get divorced, this is how it must be done. So the last Mishnah in Maseches Gittin says something amazing. Machlokes Tanoim, what are grounds for divorce? Beis Shammai Omer, Lo yigaresh adam es ishto elam kein matza ba ervas davar. A person should not divorce his wife unless there has been immorality. There has been infidelity in the relationship. If he finds in her an ervas davar, ki matza ba ervas davar, that is grounds for divorce. Says Beit Shammai, anything less than that is not grounds for divorce. Beis Hillel Omer, Beis Hillel has a different shita. Now there are other grounds for divorce. It doesn't have to get to that point. Afilu higdicha tafshilo, even if she burns his meal, his stew, that's grounds for divorce. She's not a good cook, that's grounds for divorce. Wow, wow, tremendous chiddush. She cooks a bad meal, really. And Rabbi Akiva, even further, Rabbi Akiva says, Afilu motza acheres no'ahe menu. If he found someone who is more attractive to him, that is grounds for divorce. He doesn't like her. He found someone else. That's grounds for divorce. So to be honest, in general, machlokas, Rabbi Akiva, Beis Hillel, Beit Shammai, we usually don't pass like Beit Shammai, but over here I would argue Beit Shammai is the most sound shita. You work on a marriage, you're committed to the relationship. Infidelity, immorality, that fractures the relationship. Ki matza ba ervas davar. However, if it's short of ki matza ba ervas davar, then you got to work on it. You got to fight to build the relationship. That's Beit Shammai. I understand that. What exactly is the svara, is the logic of Beis Hillel, and even more so the logic of Rabbi Akiva? How can you possibly maintain that she cooks a bad meal, or he just found another woman more appealing, more attractive? That's grounds for divorce. Is that really hashkafas haTorah? So Rafran cites his question being asked of Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky Zatzal. And Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky gave a very, very sharp answer based on a diuk in the Mishnah. Beis Hillel. What does Beis Hillel say? So the Beis Hillel says, Afilu higdicha tavshilo, even if she burns his meal. What's going on over here? His meal. So she's cooking. Who's she cooking for? So says Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, obviously she's cooking for both of them. She's cooking dinner for him and for her. And for whatever reason, part of the meal got burnt. The bottom got burnt. So she took the top. That was delicious. And she gave her husband the bottom. She took the unburnt part and she left for her husband the burnt part. That's the pshat. Not she burnt dinner, but she burnt his dinner. His dinner was burnt, her dinner was not burnt. That's cause, says Beis Hillel, for severance of this relationship. This relationship is not going to make it. If she's prioritizing herself over him, she's looking out for number one and not looking out for him, there's something fatally flawed in that relationship. She takes the good dinner for herself and leaves him with the burnt stuff. There's something very wrong over here. That, says Beis Hillel, is grounds for divorce. The notion of marriage is v'hayu lebasar echad. There's a real union. The famous story of Rav Aryeh Levine, when he brings his wife to the doctor because she's suffering, she has aches, so he tells the doctor, our leg is hurting. Not her leg is hurting. Not it's her problem. It's ours. That's that notion of So that, says Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, is pshat in Beis Hillel. What's pshat in Rabbi Akiva? Rabbi Akiva says you find someone more appealing to you. You find someone who's more attractive to you. That is grounds for divorce. Is that possible? What exactly is the pshat? So again, Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, in a very insightful comment, says, how are we supposed to view our spouses? My spouse is everything to me. Hashem is the Meshadech Shiduchim. Hashem puts people together. And if he gave me this wife, it's because she is best for me. She is who I'm supposed to be with, and I'm supposed to be working with, and partnering with, and building with. That is the unique hashgacha of Hashem being Meshadech Shiduchim. And if he starts to look away, find and seemingly find women that are more attractive to him, more appealing to him, there's something very fundamentally flawed in this relationship. This relationship is not a relationship of oneness. He's not appreciating that Hashem is Meshadech Shiduchim. Hashem brings people together because they're meant to be together, and they're meant to build, and they're meant to overcome. They're meant to meet challenges and succeed. And once a person stops his willingness to work, is looking over his shoulder, looking at that woman, so he's missing part of the core essence of marriage, which is to be in the moment, to experience the moment, to live in this moment and realize this is what's right for me. And live that, not just say it, but live it. And the second he enters into a marriage and he feels, no, this is wrong for me. Hashem doesn't have my back. So then again, there's something very, very flawed. And that's the message of Rabbi Akiva. It's not just, oh, he looks at another woman. It's something profoundly significant about the relationship. If a person does not appreciate that Hashem gave him this wife because this wife is the right wife for him, so then there's a problem. So we should really work on relationships. I can tell you, everyone can tell you, that the most important relationships that we have is with our spouse and with our children. When those relationships are working and working well, we're going to be happy no matter what is going on in our lives. We might have parnasa challenges. We might have other issues that certainly come up, but if we know we have the support of our loving spouse and we have a healthy working relationship with our children, nachas from our children, pride in our children, communication with our children, a sense of unity with our children, then no matter what life hurls at us, we're okay. The opposite is also true. We can have tremendous parnasa. Life could be working really well in other areas, but if there is marital strife, or if there is difficulty with children, so then all of a sudden, no matter how life is working well in other areas, things are tough, things are difficult. So the Torah is telling us, really in this week's parasha, work on these relationships. That's what it's all about. It's all about our relationship with our spouse, Mitzvah Hashem, and our relationship with our children. If we're zocheh to that, we'll have a tremendous sense of nachas from our children, and we'll certainly have a real sense of simcha and ava with our spouses, and thereby really build these foundational relationships, which is the core mishpacha, and that really is everything else is an outflow of those foundational relationships. Have a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh.